This review covers the 66 Chevy Modified Stalker. It's a 125 scale kit from AMT, number 1183. I remember when these cars raced on the dirt and asphalt tracks near me. Depending on what part of the country you were in, they were just about seen at every gas station and repair shop on the lot, and they were just waiting for the weekend to get here. Now, this kit was originally based on the 66 Impala annual kit, and it was retooled in 71 as a modified stock car only. And this kit builds as pretty easily. It goes together nicely. It'd be a good kit for basically the beginner. A few small parts like the roll cage, etc. Now, there's 87 pieces, molded in white, chrome, and clear. The tires are oversized slicks with pad printed sidewall detail, and the kit builds as a typical 60s or 70s oval track car, but not any specific one, so it's a single-purpose kit. I substituted scratch-built front and rear crash bars for the kit because I thought they were a little oversized. When you're done, the kit will be about 9 1/4 inches long, 3 1/2 inches wide, and 2 1/4 inches high. Here are the parts for the kit. As you can see, those nice tires are prominent there. You'll find that there's some minor flash on the pieces, and it's an old mold. If you're going for a contest build, you'll find some ejector pin marks and flash around things like the exhaust pipes, etc. But by and large, it's been kept in pretty good shape. Here are the decals for the kit. They're very colorful, and the register is pretty good even on the smaller ones. Now, they come off the paper well, and they adhere very nicely. They're thin but pliable. Now, I didn't really care for the numbers, and there wasn't one for the top of the car, which is mandatory in these races, so I painted my own there. Go ahead and gather up the parts for the engine. Construction starts there, and you can see that the Chevy engine red is prominent, and we've got some black headers. When it's assembled, as you can see, it's a very nice looking big block engine. So I've also given the carb a little gold wash there, and the transmission is steel, metallic, along with the aluminum on the intake, and the alternator there is still a chrome color. Now get the parts out of the kit for the wheel assemblies, and you paint the inner wheel portion there flat black, and you can see those giant slicks. They're almost like top fuel dragster tires, but they look really great nonetheless. We'll assemble those. They're a two-piece unit. You'll have to glue the backside of the tires into the tire, and then go ahead and assemble the inner and outer wheels around them. Also take note that these are kind of realistic wheels. They're 6-lug wheels. And here you see the chassis portion. I painted that red along with some detailing for the gas tank. And the fenders are gray. Now the rear end is separate, unlike most of these kits. So you put that together and slide the axle through that. But it's kind of a nicer looking chassis assembly than most of these kits have. So go ahead and put those together. The metal axle is used, and then just squeeze the tires onto that. Also, take note of the white drive shaft. That was done on purpose for these cars, so that if it was a night race, the drivers could see the drive shaft on the track if it got blown out of the car in front of them. The interior parts here, you see, the tub was painted gray, and note the instrument panel there. That goes into the dashboard, and there's basically a large tack and an oil and a water temperature gauge on it. That's all you need when you're racing. Note too, the seat belts, they get picked out with some red and chrome on the single seat that's left for the driver. Now we'll work with the parts for the roll cage, and as you can see, it was painted red, but with some flat black for the cushioning and padding around it. This is about the hardest part of the kit, is just to make sure you scrape those little posts off to make sure that the parts will stick together when you glue them together there. Use some slow setting glue to go ahead and assemble the roll cage to the interior so that you can position everything into proper location. Now we'll work on the body. You can see that red stripe there, striped piece that's in the window area. That's a brace, and that will need to be trimmed out. Also, there's a parting line that goes, around the tops of the fenders and over the drip edge and actually down around the front and back. It's very minor, but you can remove that easily with a small file and some sandpaper. When you've got that done, sand the body with some light, very fine sandpaper, and then give it some etching primer, and then resand the body and wash it off. Once that's done, we'll give it some color coat, and we'll talk about that next. I liked the color on the box art, so I tried to match that as closely as I could. So I used some one-shot brand paint, and there's no windshield in the kit, but there is a clear part with a protruded metal grate printed on it. And this would be like a guard for the driver as he's driving around the track. You can also add the other decals at this time, and as I mentioned, I painted the numbers on the car, and then you can see that the driver's name is printed up there too, kind of in script, just pretty much like you'd see it on one of these cars. The underside of the hood and the firewall are semi-gloss black, and there are hood hinges that can be attached to the hood, and a heater core detail in the firewall that I removed actually and made a thin plastic cover for it and painted that aluminum. There wouldn't be a heater on a race car. But the hood hinges will allow a little bit of visibility of the motor after it's installed. But typically, there would be hood hinges and pins for cars like this to keep the hood in place. And here are the parts to finish the exterior. And note that the chrome parts there will need to have the mating portions scraped free of chrome so that the parts will stick together. The other parts, of course, are flat black. And I had mentioned I made these crash bars from rod stock to approximate more a real one. I thought that they were too large in diameter from the kit. Nonetheless, these parts will be finishing up, and you'll put the blanks in there for the headlights. And the side aluminum there is it's kind of like crash protection as well. Here are the parts and the decals that you'll have left over from the kit. Some of them may belong to other kits, and some I just didn't use and replace them. But you shouldn't have much more than this after you're done. And I would suggest that you put these in your stash, and you never know when you're going to need extra parts for something else. Well, there you have it. This easy-to-build stalker can be yours, and it's a really nice-looking kit. Once you get all the pieces together, it displays well, even though the tires, like I said, are a little oversized. Still, it's pretty impressive. And the crash bars look like this Impala means business. So if I were you, I'd look for a youngster or a weekend break to get this slump buster on your shelf.
Thanks for joining us at Right On Replicas, where we're proud to bring you the best scale model kit reviews on the planet.
This review is brought to you in part by Ryder's Hobby Shops, where the fun begins. Stop in to one of Ryder's 2 convenient Michigan locations where you'll find a full range of the latest hobby products, supplies, parts, tools, and paint. You'll find aisles and aisles of scale model kits, RC models, model rockets, Warhammer gaming, and railroading products. Stop in at Ryder's today and tell them Doug sent you.